Yo, what is good, guys? It's your boy Gamers Goon here today with your Raw review for the June 12th, 2017 episode of Monday Night Raw. Just want to get this off my chest real quick. Raw looked pretty promising from the first two segments, and then it went downhill from there. They opened it off on a good note. I really thought that they'd be able to follow through, but rose my expectations a little too high for the creative team on Monday Night Raw once again. So the show opened off with Brock Lesnar making his return since WrestleMania for the first time with his Universal title. Paul Heyman, as the mouthpiece here of Brock Lesnar, said that he was here to unleash the beast and that Joe's day of reckoning, courtesy of Brock Lesnar, is upon him. He said he showed Samoa Joe respect last week and he expected to receive respect in return. But Joe just lured him. Then he choked him in the Coquina clutch. Heyman said that Joe put his hands on Brock's guy, so now Brock Lesnar has a problem with Joe. And the problem will be solved by Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. Jeez, my allergies are getting the better of me right now. Heyman said he couldn't believe he was fooled after finally having somebody who could actually challenge Brock Lesnar man to beast, saying that all the Samoans are the same. They're all proud of each other's accomplishments. But there's one Samoan that doesn't mold. That's Samoa Joe. And he said nobody's proud of Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe's defining moment was putting the Coquina clutch on Paul Heyman. He said he thought that if Joe would put the Coquina clutch on Lesnar, Lesnar wouldn't be able to survive. But he said Joe isn't even man enough to lock the Coquina clutch in on to Brock Lesnar. That would encourage Samoa Joe to come down to the ring and interrupt. He had a little stare down with Brock Lesnar where it featured Joe ending up hitting Lesnar, and then they started getting in a little brawl, which would result in the security coming down, where of course Joe and Brock got through the security and started beating each other up. Then the locker room came down. They had their moments where they broke through and hit each other, and then it ended with them staring each other down, Brock being held down at the ring and Joe being held up at the ramp. So that was a huge segment there. I really liked that. I really wish the fight would have went longer. I think that they should have let him fight. That'd be kind of cool. Then we had Elias Samson here. He'd be in the ring singing. He asked us who wanted to walk with Elias. He had his followers with the lights on behind him. He said he was here to ease the tension that just occurred. And he was inspired by there at Louisiana. He then went on to sing about Louisiana, how it is the laughingstock of the United States, and that Cajuns should be caged up. And then he goes on to sing about Ambrose for a little bit. Then Dean Ambrose would interrupt him, and that starts a match. The match here wasn't that great. I mean, it was a good match, I guess. But it started off pretty slow with just some grapples. I mean, at the end, I really liked the ending of this match. Samson would end up having an advantage after the commercial break. Dean would eventually start to gain some momentum. He did a suicide dive. Ambrose would roll Samson back in the ring. He would try to go high risk. Samson would attempt to stop Dean Ambrose, but Dean would deliver some headbutts into Samson, causing Samson to fall down, leaving The Miz to come out and distract Dean. Samson would try a small package, and Dean would kick out at 2, and then Dean would leave the ring and chase The Miz here. He would end up getting The Miz, throwing him into the barricade, and he'd be able to roll back in at a 9 count from the referee. allowing Samson to lock in and hit the swinging neck breaker for the win. It really seems like they're trying to protect Elias Samson here. I don't know why they're trying. I think he is a good heel. Don't get me wrong. I like Elias. But I don't know why they're protecting him so much. I hope that's an indicator saying they're going to try to push him. I think he could be a good potential holder of the Intercontinental Championship. So that would be interesting there if he actually gets to have a run with the title. Then we had Goldust in a little video package saying that he got to Truth, but for Truth got to him. And he said nobody understands him. Is it because he's too bizarre, or is it because he makes us feel uncomfortable? Ignorance is beautiful. And he then went on to tell us that we haven't seen anything from him yet. So, hopefully they stop with the video promos and have a match at Great Balls of Fire. Hopefully we get to see Goldust and Truth in ring at some point in the upcoming weeks. Then we have The Miz and Kurt Angle in the back. Kurt Angle confronted The Miz, asking him why he did what he did, because he has enough on his hands with Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Miz went on to say that the reason he did it was because Dean and Ambrose interrupted his celebration because Kurt Angle wasn't doing his job. He left, and Dean Ambrose got to get back into the arena. And then Kurt Angle said, first off, never talk to me like that. And second off, I'm not going to do a thing to Dean Ambrose. So, Dean Ambrose doesn't receive any consequences, which I don't think he should. The only consequence I think he should get is that title rematch. That's really all he really needs. And I want it on a Raw, please. I don't want to see it on Great Balls of Fire. I want him to move on to Elias. Then we had Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander in the back. Noam Dar was on FaceTime with Alicia Fox when Cedric Alexander would interrupt. He said he's moved on from Noam Dar, and he's also done with the ratchet Alicia Fox. And then he and Alicia Fox had a little conversation where she was like, "Is that Cedric Alexander?" The most annoying voice I've ever heard. Then we had a match between Dar and Cedric Alexander. Dar would come out talking to Alicia Fox on FaceTime. He had set his phone down on the side of the ring after refusing to hang up with Alicia Fox. As soon as he turned around from setting his phone down, he ended up losing to the Cedric Alexander finisher, which would give Alexander the victory here. I think Alexander has a big future if they book him correctly. If they book him correctly, I really like Cedric Alexander. I think he's a pretty good wrestler. I really like him. He has the charismatic background a little bit. I really like to see what Cedric Alexander has in the future. Then we have Bray Wyatt here in his promo saying the bunch of meaningless stuff he always says. Then he comes to the ring, says a bunch of more meaningless stuff. Seth Rollins would interrupt, try to talk some sense into Bray Wyatt, basically. Then Bray Wyatt would disappear from the ring with his video package, transporting. Wyatt would be out of the ring, and then he cut a promo onto Rollins here, saying that the God lives forever, and that Seth Rollins shall run. So I don't understand what the direction is with Bray Wyatt. Like 4 weeks ago, he was trying to start a feud with Balor. 3 weeks ago, he was in an Extreme Rules match. 2 weeks ago, he started a match against Roman Reigns, and now he's randomly fighting Seth Rollins in a feud. What is this? A Fatal 4-Way? Wyatt wasn't a big enough name to put Roman Reigns over. Wyatt wasn't a big enough name for Finn Balor to get his first victory back again. So I don't know what their direction is for Bray Wyatt. Then we had a interview in the back with Charlie Caruso interviewing the Hardy Boys. She asked them about the 2 out of 3 Falls match that the Hardys had later that night. They said that they are about to break the bar because Shay Morrow claimed that they are the bar. So that was a meaningless little interview. Nobody cared about it. I didn't care about it. I don't know if you cared about it, but it was meaningless to me. It didn't mean anything. Then we had Kalisto and Cruz, a feud that they needed to get off my TV. Kalisto, he looked like he was going to be on a mega push, and now he is on a mega decline. I think this will eventually follow Kalisto joining the Titus brand, sadly. So this match, Tozawa was sitting at the ringside here. We got to see the interactions between Titus O'Neil and Tozawa, trying to convince Tozawa to join the Titus brand. It eventually ended with Apollo Crews beating Kalisto, where then Titus O'Neil would drag Tozawa into the ring with them to celebrate. Tozawa did not look happy, and they took a selfie. So, Tozawa, my recommendation, don't go join Titus brand because that just means you're going to be sitting at Titus Catering. Then we had Slater and Rhino, some more people that got plagued by Titus Catering at Raw. They were confronted by Miz here. Miz was asking Heath Slater to join the Miz's entourage. Then he said that the only thing he wanted was the IC belt when he grew up. Because Miz said, just ask what you want. And then Miz said, I will give you a chance sometime. So, and then Rhino was like, he already has a partner, Miz. And as for you tonight, you need to find one because we're going to fight you tonight. Why was frickin' Rhino eating while... I don't even know. That was a meaningless segment. They went from on top of the world to not even being relevant on Raw, so... I don't know. Then we had Alexa Bliss having a little promo here. She mentioned Money in the Bank women's ladder match that's coming up this Sunday. But she said, as for tonight, she graces us with her presence. Yes, she does. Nia Jax then would interrupt Alexa Bliss. And then Bliss was sitting here trying to play a little defense, saying she was trying not... Well, she was basically trying not to make Nia Jax feel like they weren't friends. She tried to place the blame on Dana Brooke and Mickie James. She said they stole their spotlight. And then Mickie James would come on out saying, sure, you're a 3-time champion, but I'm a 6-time champion, Bliss. And you have a while to go until you reach my territory. And then Mickie James would bring up the fact that Bliss said it was unfair that Nia Jax got a chance before Dana Brooke and Mickie James. And then Dana Brooke was like, I believe your exact quotes were, we have a Nia Jax problem. So Bliss would try to get the blame off her by saying, look at our resources here. We got Dana Brooke, the epitome of a disgruntled worker. We got Mickie James, where the spotlight is dimming by the second, or maybe it's just the cardiacs. So that was kind of funny for a second. I don't know why. Now see, SmackDown here doesn't make it look cram, but Raw made it look cram with the women's division. They really did. Emma would then return saying that they should put the spotlight on her because she is back and she is ready to be on the top of the women's division. What makes me believe Emma is on the top of the... Who has Emma beat in the last year? Credit. Like, who credible has Emma ever beat? So, besides that, then we had, who was it? They said, then Bliss would say that they were trying to take Nia Jax and her spotlight, leading Sasha Banks to come out saying that being the champ means proving you're the best every day, all day. And that all Bliss does is talk. That's one thing Bliss shouldn't stop doing, is talking. Thank you, Sasha. She is the best talker in the business at the moment. close second with Samoa Joe, though. That led Sasha Banks to hit Alexa Bliss, leading to a brawl between all of them, leading to a tag team match where it was Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss versus Sasha, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke. Pretty meaningless match. I don't know why they did it. For a second, I thought they were going to go with the same thing they went with on SmackDown. All of them get a title shot. I thought Kurt Angle was going to come out and be like, oh, yep, we're all going to have a match. But that didn't happen, thank God. There was a moment in the match where Emma needed to tag. Alexa Bliss would leave the ringside, not allowing the tag. Mickie James then would take out Nia Jax. After a failed roll-up pin onto Emma, Sasha Banks would end up locking in a bank statement, causing Emma to tap out. And that would be the faces winning this match. Don't ask me how Dana Brooke is a face. I don't know. I don't know why Dana Brooke is even in the company right now. She shouldn't be on TV. Then we had a video package of Finn Balor. I really thought that they weren't going to show us the Demon for a little bit. They're just showing us the Balor Club. The old Balor that he has been since he's been back. We haven't seen the Demon come out. And then they showed him winning the Universal Championship in his Demon gear. But they really tried to make it seem like they weren't going to show it. I don't know if they're forgetting about the Demon or just going to bring it up every now and then when there's a big pay-per-view. Or if Finn Balor's not going to use the Demon anymore. I really don't know what their direction is with that. We haven't heard or seen anything of it recently. So then we had Corey Graves in the back talking to Bayley. Whose idea was it to let Bayley have a promo again? I don't care if it's in her interview. I don't care what it is. Bayley doesn't need to talk. Bayley does not need to talk. She should just be Bayley. She even said, I should just be Bayley. She doesn't need to speak until she has more aggression. We don't want to see it. What kind of crap was she saying anyways? Corey Graves asked her why she wasn't able to become extreme. She said she's never been that kind of girl. She's never been in that situation. She's just here to put smiles on people's faces. And she's just here to be Bayley, not to be somebody else that she isn't. What kind of crap answer is that? Who told her to say that? Who said, you know what? I'm going to tell you that I want smiles on your face. We understand that. Everybody in the business is there to get smiles on our faces. Samoa Joe's there to get smiles on. Bray Wyatt's there. Braun Strowman. John Cena. Whoever. Down the line, their spot is to get a reaction. We don't need you to come out and say, oh, I'm just here to make smiles on your faces. We already understand that. Your gimmick tells us that. Can you please book her to say something like more meaningful, that like something? Please. And then she said, what does the future hold for Bayley? She said, well, a lot of fans have been tweeting me the same thing, so I'm actually glad you asked that. I wrote in my journal saying that I wanted to be the best one day. And that means I'm going to hopefully become the Raw Women's Champion again and walk down WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Champion again, because we're back here in Louisiana. Now, you could have... That answer wasn't terrible. You could have left the whole journal crap out. Nobody wants to hear that anymore. That time is over now. You're making her look terrible. She's already a big baby face. How did you ruin it? How did you ruin it? That was absolutely a disgusting interview. I don't know why they had it. Then she followed up by asking for a hug from Corey Graves. I gotta give props to Corey Graves. He gave her a hug and then he said, you know, I'm gonna need a cigarette. I would too. What the world kind of crap is she saying? I don't care if that's logical crap to say or not. Give like something else, please. We don't want to hear about how you're just here to make people smile. Come on. And you know what really make me smile, Bailey? Being a freaking wrestler that had some aggression towards them. Jeez. Nobody wants to see you anymore just because of that. Anyways, after that rant, we had Heath Slater and Rhino versus Miz and his mystery partner. Miz would be in the ring where Miz Bear's music would hit. He'd come out down on a tricycle. Miz would think this was Dean Ambrose. He'd eventually offer a handshake to Heath Slater. Heath Slater wouldn't do it. Rhino and Slater would get the better of the Miz for the better first half of the match. Then Miz Bear would tag himself in. Commentators were really playing off this Miz Bear anatomy crap. He was like, I don't know where the heart is in the bear's anatomy or whatever. So, that was kind of... It might have been a little too much comedy. It might have been a little bit too much comedy here. Miz would attack Miz Bear here, his partner. And he would unmask him. He realizing it wasn't Ambrose. Corey Graves, I believe, was like, oh, he's worse than last week's. That was kind of funny. Then Miz would enter the ring. And then a new bear would roll on in. And he would give a dirty deeds to Heath Slater. While Slater shoved Miz into Maurice. Maurice once again got mad at the Miz and ran off. Maurice is not a great actor, by the way. You could tell she wasn't hurt. Then Miz would turn around and receive a dirty deeds from Dean Ambrose, where Dean Ambrose would then put the mask on the Miz after putting Slater's arm over for the win. So, I don't know what the direction is with Dean Ambrose either. I really don't. One moment he's feuding with Samson. Then later on in the show he's feuding with The Miz. What the heck is booking? Can he stay on one guy? Or at least give him his title rematch next week on Raw to get it over with. And let Miz move on to something bigger. Miz is better than Dean Ambrose right now. Miz is bigger and better than what the Dean Ambrose character brings. Dean Ambrose, I understand, is a workhorse. I understand that he is somebody that the fans used to want to see. I think your time is up with that, though. We don't want to see Dean Ambrose come out twice on one night. Or at least I don't. I liked his Elias Samson moment, but they kind of added some water into the juice, if you know what I mean, when they brought him out with The Miz here. You gotta keep Dean Ambrose in one feud, man. It's kind of like the Bray Wyatt situation. He has 2 or 3 different feuds going on at one time. Who's he gonna fight? That makes no sense. And we had Shamaro being interviewed here in the back. I forget who was the person interviewing him. Cesaro said that they've recently been reading a book written by the Hardys. I forgot what the title of the book was. But, they said they're going to inspire them to write a new book called Inspire to Retire after this match later on this evening. So, we might or might not get to see the Hardys retire under Shamaro's watch. I really don't think they ever will retire under Shamaro's watch because I think they still got a good 3 to 4 years left of them. And then that led into an Enzo and Cass versus the Club match where the Club came down to the ring. And then it cut to the backstage where Cass was beaten up. We saw the Revival walk in the background. So right now, I came to a conclusion. It's either the Club or the Revival. Because the Revival were in the background, but they always fought the Club when Cass got injured. Or even Enzo. And they cut a promo saying, if you don't want to fight us, just say so. Cass said he was hit harder than he has ever been hit before in the back of the head. They're really paying off the Cass injury here in the match. Cass wouldn't be able to fight after fighting for the first half. He fell down, he collapsed. So Enzo had to go in. Enzo would try to get the victory here, but the advantage of the numbers would finally get to him with the club when they would hit a magic killer on him for the win. And then they would pick him up again after the win, going for another magic killer where the Big Show would come on out. And then the club would scatter the ring. Show would raise the hand of Enzo. And in the back, Big Cass looked like he was pretty mad. For a moment, I thought he was going to hit Enzo here. I thought he was going to turn heel finally. And I was like, oh no, the tag team division. But they might be going that direction now, I really think, because they made it seem, I mean, they've had Gallows and Anderson come out at least. They've had the Revival in the background at least. And they've also mentioned Heath Slater and Rhino recently. So I think they might actually go through with it. And I really don't think they should, because Gallows and Anderson are heels. Heath Slater and Rhino, they can't really give you that title run on Raw at the moment, at least. They haven't really been booked. The Revival, I mean, they could have a comeback match, but who are they going to fight? They're going to fight Shamaro for the titles? I mean, you really can't do a heel versus heel there, can you? That would lead to Enzo questioning the Big Show in the back, saying, I'm just going to ask you, the last 2 weeks you've been there when Cass went down. And he said, and then Big Show would say, you know what, I don't think it's you. I think it's Cass, your partner. And there's only one word to describe Cass, and I'm going to spell it out for you. S-A-W-F-T. Once again, Big Show shouldn't be on Raw. I don't want to see Big Show. I came here to see a Finn Balor. I came here to see Braun Strowman. I know he's injured, but I came here to see Brock Lesnar. He got some moments. I came here to see a Seth Rollins. He got a moment. I came here to see a Samoa Joe. I came here to see frickin' anybody but Big Show. If I wanted to see Big Show, I can go on the network and I can frickin' find a Big Show match from 2008. I don't want to see Big Show right now. Why would I want to see Big Show? And then I was looking through some stuff on Twitter, and some people are even saying Big Zo is going to be the tag team now. So why would they break something good up for Enzo to be watered down by the Big Show? The Big Show, out of all people, has to be the one to enter this storyline. All people. Really. I don't care who you put in this storyline. Please don't make it the Big Show. I don't want to see the Big Show. Really, I don't. Get him out my TV. And then we had Samoa Joe in the back saying some words. Saying that words, my bad, don't matter. It's how people react. And it wasn't how Paul Heyman's words were meaning, the meaning behind Paul Heyman's words last Monday. It's how Samoa Joe reacted with the Coquina clutch, and you have to have the response, said Samoa Joe. That led into the Shamaro match, where Shamaro would end up picking up the first fall after Jeff would try to twist the fate here. Then he would get thrown into the corner. That led to a bro kick to the sternum of Jeff Hardy, and that led to a 3 count. Then Matt would be in for the second fall. He would hit a twist of fate on Cesaro and get the double, and then he'd get it all tied up for the second fall. And then we'd have a double count-out screw-over finish, so I imagine this feud's going to continue after the Hardys and Shamaro both had some moments where they looked like they were going to pick up the second fall for the win. Now, I don't mind the finish. I really did think, however, that this was going to be a situation where the Hardys would pick up the first one, Shamaro would pick up the next 2. Then Cesaro and Sheamus picked up the first win. And then I was like, they really can't be going with the Hardys here, can they? So I knew that the Hardys were going to pick the second fall up. I really thought for a second that it was going to be a clean victory by one of the teams, but no, they did the smart move and not putting either under or not putting either over here. So a lot of this show was meaningless. Like the Miz Bear match was meaningless. What else was meaningless? The Goldust promo, unless they finally back it up, was pretty meaningless. Miz and Angle, maybe a potential match in the future. I don't know, kind of looking like the Shane McMahon, AJ Styles kind of thing. Dar and Alexander, don't know where they're going from here. Wyatt, don't know where he's going. Seth, don't know where he's going. They don't really give anybody direction. Kalisto is going to be stuck in this Titus brand feud for a while, it seems. Slater and Rhino, people that have been plagued by Titus Catering, got on the show. Why should we care about them? I don't know. We had the Gorgeous Bliss out here, where that led to a meaningless match that nobody cared about. Then we had the Balor throwback. Balor and Roman Reigns both weren't on the show. Maybe they should book that for Nakamura, because Nakamura is supposed to be on SmackDown tonight. Bayley, don't want to see her ever talk again until she has more attitude. Nobody wants to see it. Then we had Slater and Rhino versus the Miz, Bear, and Miz. Nobody cared. It was a little too comedic here. Then we had Neville and Swan. Oh, I didn't talk about Neville and Swan, did I? So Neville versus Rich Swann. Swan would go into the ring here dancing. Neville would hit him with a cheap shot from behind. Then Neville would have him on the ground. He would run through the people he's beaten. Austin Aries, TJP, and now Richard Swann. And then he mentioned Akira Tozawa after saying that it's good to be the king. Saying that just because Titus O'Neil tweets about you doesn't mean that you're going to get a title shot, Akira Tozawa. So I forgot I mentioned that. Big Cass and Enzo are being watered down by the Big Show right now, so that's starting to get meaningless. Then we have Samoa Joe. I liked him. Samoa Joe really is the epitome of somebody who can go out there and tell you what, like, something very meaningful in a short little, maybe minute-long promo. Not long at all. And then the Shimaro match, I don't mind the finish. I think this will lead to a bigger and better match. I don't think the Hardys is right for them to be the tag team champions at the moment. If the broken gimmick is going to come, I don't know if they will or not become broken. Hopefully we get to see them broken before SummerSlam. But my earlier prediction from, I believe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, I said I don't think they're going to be broken until after SummerSlam, so hopefully they get to be broken soon. But anyways, that's been your boy Gamers Goon. Make sure you click that red subscribe button. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you leave a comment with any questions or reactions to Monday Night Raw that you have for me. It's been your boy Gamers Goon. It's been real. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching my review for Raw for the June 12th, 2017 episode.